I'm going to have to imagine your responses. So, but anyway, the point is that I can read from the book. And I got it here, and it kind of maybe block my face, but, it looks kind of cool. You can see the book. But I don't know, is that of any value? I feel like I'm reading, I like reading to my kids. I had 2 kids, and what were they, like 4 years apart or something, or 7 years apart. Yeah, maybe 7 years apart. So, I got to, go through that childhood thing twice. It was kind of cool. Anyway, or I can just read it off my computer over here. So, I don't know, it kind of frees me up. My hands are here for gesturing and talking wildly. So, I don't know. I'll look at these later when I go to edit them. I'm going to cut a few more of these podcasts today, and then I can maybe make a decision. Oh, the other thing was the saluting, and I did practice that this time. And I came to the conclusion that standing up and saluting would be nice if I was in a situation where I was standing up to perform or something. But since I'm going to start and end the show sitting down, the standing up part seems more a little more dramatic than necessary. So, in that sense, we can start this podcast with me saluting you like this. So there, I've kept my, I don't know, what do we call that? My motif now, my style. So, I will try. If I don't do it, too bad. Sorry. But anyway, and remember, never say sorry unless you plan to make the mistake again. And so, but basically, I think I would settle into that. And I really like that. But I don't want people imitating me because, like I said, I don't want to lead people into being liars. You're a liar, a cheat, and a fraud if you do that. And you're not a disciple. So you don't want to lead people on and create, that fraudulent stupidity, because I don't know. When I was 20, 30 years ago, man, I just really wanted to smack people and slap them in the face. And when I would see a karate school that says Shaolin Kung Fu on it, man, I just wanted to go in there and, demonstrate how Shaolin Kung Fu can hurt you. It sounds terrible, I know, but I got to admit, I thought that many times. I don't think I came close to doing it, but I was willing to a few times, to be honest with you, because I just get so disgruntled because now we're in a world where nobody knows what Shaolin Kung Fu is because everybody in the world said they knew what it was, and then they taught everybody a whole bunch of watered down karate, with a few kicks in it, and they didn't know Kung Fu. They didn't know Shaolin Kung Fu. They weren't Zen Buddhist disciples of Bodhidharma like me. See, so I'm beholden to give you the amazing Kung Fu along with the Zen Buddhism that comes with it. Plus I teach Confucianism and the original Buddhism and Taoism. So, anyway, seeing all these frauds taking people's money and destroying my well, I don't know about my reputation, but the reputation of the product that I sell. It's disheartening in the least, so. And the proof is in the pudding. There was a lot more demand for Shaolin Kung Fu 30 years ago than there is now. Because everybody said, hey, I want some. And then they got a whole bunch of nothing. So now there's no Shaolin Kung Fu teachers. Nobody learns Shaolin Kung Fu except me and a couple other people. There's only a couple. My master's the guy that fought Bruce Lee, Wong Jack Man, back in 1964 in Oakland, California, in a little school that Bruce Lee was teaching out of, which he had no business teaching out of because he never graduated Wing Chun. And he wasn't a master of any other style. So he was really fraudulent. He was not a shifu, not a master, and he was actually taking people's money and teaching them Kung Fu. So that's who Bruce Lee is. He's an actor, and he learned some stuff. He was able to keep people busy. He learned 1 year of basic Kung Fu, so he could teach people for 1 year and stretch it out and mix it up and do some sparring, and that was it. And that's all he did. That's all he could do. I mean, he only knew a few kicks. Maybe 3. That's it. I've got every movie that he made. I think I've got every single movie that Bruce Lee ever made. And I enjoy them immensely. I always have. Watched every single one of them with my kids. But if you go through all those movies, I'd be surprised if you saw more than 3 kicks in all those movies put together. 3 different kicks. All right. So anyway, he's not a Kung Fu master. Just like Donald Trump is not a smart businessman. See, half this country thinks that Donald Trump is a smart businessman. And I'll bet you every single one of those people believes that Bruce Lee is a Kung Fu master. Okay, So that's what I'm working against. Some people just aren't smart enough to see the truth. Okay, but anyway, where are we? Okay, we are in. I'm coming down this new series, and I want to make it kind of interesting, and I want to have fun because, as I said, I think in my previous podcast, if you're having fun, you do a better job, right? So let's see if I can do a good job of this and have some fun. All right, so let's get to work here. Okay, so these are going to be short, and I got lots of stuff to say, but I'm sure I'll find places to interject. So anyway, we're in this book. You should get this book. Get this book. Get the paperback. That's what I'm dealing with, the paperback. I haven't seen the hard. I can't afford the hardcovers of my own books. I got like 30 books published. I can't even afford paperbacks of all of them, let alone the hard. But anyway, the point being is, get this book. Get the paperback version. It's really fun. It's really nice, and it's really my favorite way to read these books. I got a couple other poetry books. I bought the paperbacks, and they're just fun to read. You just open it up somewhere and just. It's poetry, so it has a beginning and an end, in all kinds of little places in my books. Okay, so anyway, I can be reading it like that and showing it to you, but I got it right here. So but I do know where I'm supposed to stop, so let me just verify that real quick. It looks like I'm supposed to go to the end of the dedication today. All right, so let's go to the end of the dedication. So I'm looking at my picture. This picture of me was taken probably about 2014 or 15. Yeah. And well, I don't know. It could have gone as far as 2018, actually, because my hair is kind of short. So this made me later when I was actually doing the philosopher poet stuff, because my hair is shorter. See? So this is the philosopher poet. So that'd be 2017 to 2020. That whole window, last few years of my homelessness. That's what I look like. And I had my intellectual glasses on, my nerdy looking glasses, trying to own up to being smart finally, instead of hiding it my whole life. And okay, so also by Buddha Z. Oh, let's take a look right here, because I've been taking a lot of these titles out if they don't relate to that author. The Five Souls of God. Well, I was Buddha Z when I invented that. The Five Souls of God. Performing, well, and Richard Del Conner. But point is that I think I'm getting Richard Del Conner the credit on that. So I don't know if that's gonna be a Buddha Z book. Well, it's published here. I haven't got the paperback. What I put my name on. I'm sure I'm Richard Del Conner. Well, okay. So anyway, but okay. But let's just keep going. Buddha Kung Fu Student Manual. Okay, that relates more to me. History of Zen from A to Z. That totally relates to me, but in a funny way. That's fiction. Good luck reading that one. I wish I could get some feedback. I always tell people to, read that book and then tell me what they think. And I've never been able to get anybody to say anything other than, well, I'm not going to tell you. I want to give you ideas. Tell me what you think. Let me see. In the comments. I don't know. Is this a podcast? Maybe there's going to be comments. Don't guarantee I'm going to read them. I'm not very good at that. Okay, so let's see. In fact, I just negated all my Facebook pages. I had like 13 Facebook pages. I had one for Buddha Z, and Buddha Jen, and Richard Del Conner, and Shaolin Kung Fu, and Buddha Kung Fu, and Tai Chi Youth, and Shaolin Records. And I have all these Facebook pages, and Facebook shut me down. I think somebody hacked one of my accounts, my main account. I think my Richard Del Conner account. They hacked it, and then Facebook shut me down. And without my main account, I can't access all my other accounts. So I got all these periphery accounts I can't even get into because I took down my main. Anyway, so just letting you know, don't look for me on Facebook. If you do find anything, if anything's still there, it's going to be like from, well, before 2020. Let's put it that way. Okay, here we go. What else? We go. Human values for success in family and business. This is actually going to be one of my podcasts. I decided to use this for the Shaolin Shaolin Shi Mantis podcast. I've got a Kung Fu podcast. And I decided that we're going to read that book to start off and just really see if I can get people's brains in order. Because, being able to pummel people and kick them and hit them with a metal object is not a high-level skill. It's higher than a normal physical skill. It's up there, but it doesn't make you a better person. There's a lot more to life beyond that. So these human values are about how to live a life as a student, as an employee, as a politician, as a husband, as a person in your family. You got to figure out what your station is, your level, where you're at. Anyway, let's continue on. Philosopher, poet in a field of dreams. I love that. Well, I like all my books, but that one I spent a lot of time, and I've got a copy of it in paperback I carried around. And that's one of those books I just enjoy opening up and reading. It's fun. In fact, there was a lady, I've heard this from a couple of people, there's one lady who always stand out to me because she was older than me, presumably. And she worked at this church that I visited for half a dozen years probably. So we got to be really, got to know each other pretty well. And she bought my book. One of the few people who did, of course, but she did. And she bought my book enthusiastically because she was supportive of me. She liked me. And she bought my book. And then she commented several times, or at least twice, that she just enjoyed opening up the book. And then it would kind of like a horoscope, she said. It would answer her question for that day. I thought that was cool. So I thought about that. I asked a couple other people. They tried that. They go, yeah, that is kind of a fun way to do it. So anyway, just mentioning it. All right, where were we? Shaolin Kung Fu Beginner. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, these are books I wrote in the 90s. These are amazing books. And it's like, okay, it's like, all right, class, let's go. These are like the template, the car we drive in, the tank, we get in with these books, to learn all my Kung Fu. So anyway, that's exciting. Super Soul 13, that one definitely has the Buddha Z name on it. That one is directly written by me, who's Buddha Z today. In fact, that's what I like about doing these podcasting, kind of like a bulk, not just one podcast and the next one. I got to change characters and change wardrobe, maybe even change backgrounds. Now, I'm going to be Buddha Z for a couple of days, I decided. It's a Saturday today, and I'm going to be Buddha Z today. I'm going to be Buddha Z tomorrow. And I think I got a doctor appointment on Monday, so that may pop my BZ bubble. But anyway, here we go. Continuing on. Tai Chi Beginner. That was the book that started me as a Kung Fu teacher. Now, I was already teaching Shaolin Kung Fu for free. I had all kinds of interns back in North Hollywood in the late 80s, 1980s. And I got these interns and I said I'd advertise free Kung Fu for Shaolin Records interns. And I had this long list of people, and I just always had interns. And so anyway, I had interns, and this book wasn't even written then. I had to take excerpts and things and create little pieces of stuff that I'd hand them because I felt like, oh, these guys need some paperwork of some sort. My my volunteers. But anyway, the point being, for my interns, I started realizing I wanted a book. And then when I moved to Utah and I started asking people for money and said, I'm teaching this now, it's a curriculum, then I had to make it a book. And that's it. That's the first book I created, Tai Chi Beginner. The Tao of Taoism. Now, this book was already created. I created this back in the mid-90s when I was in UCLA. And there's a whole story behind this, and we're going to get to this book. In fact, am I going to read this in this series? I got to figure out which identities are reading which. It'd be nice. I wouldn't mind doing that in this particular series right here. So we'll see. I've got the next year all planned out with everything, but I don't think the Tao of Taoism is covered right now. But I have actually I've recorded 69 videos, but they're too long. I read the whole page or 2 pages. I read each little section. That's just too much. Too many questions, too much information. So I really want to just stretch it out and take our time and just deal with maybe one question per podcast and think about that for a week until the next class, next episode or podcast, book reading. So anyway, we'll see. But Tao of Taoism, amazing book. I love this book. And in fact, the founder of the Taoist Institute in Burbank, California, he is a friend of mine. And I've known him since, since the 80s, actually, because we've got common friends in the martial arts world. And I've hung out with him a bit. And he got a copy of this book. And then he contacted me and he said, this is an amazing book. He says, you've given me all kinds of ideas. And the way that you've reinterpreted the Four Noble Truths is really amazing. He goes, can I quote you? Can I copy some of the things that you've done? And I said, sure, go ahead. I did, he said he'd give me a book review, and I'd never collected that from him. I should be more aggressive. I should have been more aggressive and just got it right then, right when it was all fresh in his mind. So that's part of marketing, and that's why you need a manager. A manager is like a shark. They see a target and they keep gnawing until they get it. I saw something, lined it up, walked away, and then didn't come back and collect it. So that's why it's good to have a manager. Okay, where were we? Next one, last one, Zen Spirit Book. Now, that's a story in itself. The Zen Spirit Book is actually the newest version of the Coyote Spirit Book, which I wrote for me, and only me. I was never planning on publishing it. I just wanted to collect wisdom because I learned so much stuff and I forget it. It's not that I even forget it. It's in my brain, but I don't access it. And so I created this notebook called the Coyote Spirit Notebook. And I divided things up in all kinds of things: love, hate, hope. Just trying to collect wisdoms and just put them in there. And most of them are my own reinterpretations. Some of them are direct quotes, and sometimes I'm just kind of paraphrasing something I thought was cool. But I created this notebook, and it ended up being about that thick, about 3 inches or almost 4 inches thick, just of stuff. Well, when I started teaching in the 90s, I realized, well, I wanted to share that stuff with my students. I wasn't even checking on it or reading it. It's like, how can I be smart? I didn't go in and access that book myself. So I decided, why don't I make that book useful to me and everybody else? And so I rewrote it as the Zen Spirit book instead of the Coyote Spirit. So yeah, make it a little more universal. But it's all stuff that I thought was so valuable, I wanted to keep it for myself. So now I'm sharing with you guys. That's the Zen Spirit book. All right, I think was that as far as I had to go? Oh no, the dedication, I said. Yikes! Okay, sorry. Let's just pour down this copyright thing real fast. You can go back and read it yourself. But basically, this is the Four Noble Truths Explained. That's the name of the book. And the subtitle is Book 1 of 8, Original Buddhism of India. Long subtitle. But that whole thing, Book 1 of 8, that's the subtitle. All right, by Richard Del Conner, Buddha Z. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not trying to hide from my identity. I'm just trying to claim a different character to operate under. Okay, published by Shaolin Communications. And if you, that email, publisher at Shaolin Communications, I'll never get a spam. But that is I consider that to be my legal thing. And I only go in there like once a month or so. If you're in a hurry, just call me. But anyway, the point being is, and there's contact forms on my websites. That's what to me is going to be my legal correspondence thing. If I could ever get anybody to want to buy stuff from me, legal rights or use stuff in movies. So I would do it through that email right there, I think. Okay, and then here's the copyright. This is copyrighted in 2022, Four Noble Truths. Yeah, like I said, I actually wrote this back in 2018 and 19 while I was performing as a collection of different things. But yeah, this book was copyrighted then. And that now there's a link to ShaolinCommunications.com. And that page was just like a one-page website with links to everything I built. And I made that page 20 years ago. Since then, I've added websites, I've deleted websites, I've done all kinds of stuff. That page was obsolete. Threw it away, tried to build it in a WordPress, and decided, no, I don't really want to sell anything from here. I'm selling stuff everywhere else. And I created for ShaolinCommunications.com, which is my parent company. Shaolin Records and Shaolin Music and Shaolin Team Management. They're all kind of under that. So I got one page, one deck I can go to the bank with instead of setting up all these accounts. But Shaolin Communications is my main overseeing account. And but I didn't want to make that my main website. So my main Shaolin Communications sells through Shaolin Records and KungFuCowboy.com and all this stuff, got all my products, but only some products at each website. So I created one website that would have everything, all my artists and everything combined, and that's ShaolinCom.com. Instead of ShaolinCommunications.com, it's ShaolinCom.com. I don't know that was a good idea. I thought it was. I can't tell. I haven't had enough business to know. It worked, in terms of marketing, or should I just stuck with the ShaolinCommunications.com for everything? Be a lot longer. So I don't know. That was a decision I made in 1999. And I'm saying that now because I'm just saying that it's not really important. I may have kicked the camera. So anyway, now you know that it was ShaolinCom.com, com.com, ShaolinCom.com. Go there, and that's my everything website. It's an amazing. I put years into building that website. Okay, here we go. Edited and typeset by Richard Del Conner, which is a mistake. Which book are we in? Four Noble Truths. I was just doing another. Which book was I doing? Was it this one? Yeah, it was this book. I've been editing a couple of books. Yeah, and I do find typos. I'll find where's a page with a typo on it? Well, not many. I can't even find one now. But here's one, I think. I got to make a capital. So I got a letter that needs to be a capital. So I got a few typos, but every time I publish a book, there's something will get through, there's a few, and I'll read the book a couple more times and make the audio book, and then I'll find some more. But I really wish I had an editor, somebody who could read it besides me. And you're supposed to. There's no author who's ever going to say that you should not have an editor or proofreaders. And I had an ex-wife and a couple of people, but unfortunately they have not been coming through for me. I've actually tried to use people as proofreaders in the last few years. Can't pay them. I just can't seem to get anybody to really do it. Okay, so here we go. I'm sorry. Dragging along here. Author, Richard Del Conner. Chinese name, Jen Shen-Lang Buddha. English translation. This is what my name, my Jen means truth. So I'm the spirit wolf of truth, or the true spirit wolf. You could kind of translate it in different ways. But that's my name. That's my Chinese name. And then we can go into why and how. But cool name, huh? All right, here we go. And Calligraphy by Richard Del Conner. Sometimes I say Buddha Jen. I forget it. I skipped a couple of things. Professional title, Buddhist rapper. Where the heck did that come from? Oh, these are the Four Noble Truths. So Buddha Z, me, if I'm going to call myself, I was thinking of calling myself a Buddhist rapper. I need some marketing. And as long as you can take me on my terms and I can rap and do my own music in my own way, I actually don't like the title. Because I don't really like rap music. In fact, one of these things is an anti-rap song. So I don't know, but that maybe that's part of the humor of it. Is me, someone who doesn't like rap music and isn't even very good at it, but is a really good poet. You know, can we still call it rap? You know, it's just maybe not racially flavored. It's not culturally flavored. I didn't come from a ghetto. I came from a real nice middle class WASP neighborhood. You know, so I have a different identity. My bitterness towards life is different than somebody who came from the ghettos or the slums, perhaps. So I don't know. Can I still call it rap, even if I don't come from a slum? But here we go. Where were we? Professional title, Buddhist rapper. So I don't know. Talk to me. I haven't been able to get anybody to really give me any nays or yays on that one. Okay, Shaolin Kung Fu instructor name, Buddha Jen. It's Jen Shen-Lang, Spirit Wolf of Truth, but Buddha Jen is acceptable. Jen Shifu is kind of what they say in the Mandarin accent, is what my Chinese master friends call me. They call me Jen Shifu. But you're not Chinese, so you probably don't think of it that way. Okay, so anyway, calligraphy by me. Okay, cover photo, my dreams time. Oh yeah, so I was trying to give some credit. I actually used a stock photo. I got boxes and boxes and boxes of photography, and I got a scanner. I got to hire somebody to scan my stuff. So I got lots of my own photography, but I thought this was, I thought this was an appropriate use for it. Dreams time. In fact, I would actually like to put the actual photographer's name and everything here, but I don't know if I kept it, or that was so long ago, and I was working out of a library. Oh, hold it. No, not this one. I'm thinking of a different book I published in the library. Anyway, photo editing by the hippie coyote. I put him in here so he'd have a place. He wouldn't just totally vanish from history. But I am, even as a photographer, I'm going to be Richard Del Conner from now on, I think. I'm not going to really, I don't know. I don't mind being the hippie coyote, the coyote photographer, since the mid-'80s. I wish I had a manager. I don't know. I'm comfortable doing lots of things different ways. Sometimes I don't know what the better way is. I got these forks in the road. I got reason to choose any of them, any of those paths. Photographs of Richard Del Conner by the hippie coyote in 2019. That's kind of true. It's actually true. I was the director of photography, but I actually had help from Oscar, my friend Oscar. He was on my camera. I actually put him on the camera for those pictures. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, I don't know. But, when you're a photographer, you're hiring all kinds of crew. You don't give your crew credit. But I just happen to think of it. Okay, anyway, this comes under philosophy, Buddhism. Philosophy or religion? See, Buddhism is not really a religion. It's a philosophy, but it's classified as a religion. So that's interesting that I put philosophy, Buddhism. So I don't know if that's actually, if I'm mucking up the works or, causing a little whatever. First edition was 2022. And this is the first, actually it's not the first edition because I'm going to make changes in it. Or first printing. I'm going to take that number 1 off if you're seeing it. So now it's going to say 2. So now we know that we are actually now in the second pressing. Or second, kind of pressing because we're not printing them out like the old days, but it's going to be a different version of the book. So it's changed slightly. So good, this is the version 2. Needed to do that. Okay, now people are getting mad at me for putting all these ISBNs in here. I'm getting in trouble for this. I think this is an acceptable way to do it because I didn't say iTunes or Amazon. I didn't put the Kindle one in here. I think that this is considered, because I've made lots of mistakes, because I've been finding out everything the hard way, because I don't even have anybody I know who does this. I can even ask questions. So I think that this is the appropriate format to use. Hey, we're almost done with this podcast. All right, so let's jump over here to the dedicated. So I think I can leave all these ISBNs on this page, but sometimes if you have certain ISBNs, like I said, if I put the Kindle ISBN in here, then iTunes actually will get pissed off at me. Okay, so I think I did okay here. Okay, I can put an ebook here, though. I'm going to be publishing my ebooks not only through Amazon, but also through Draft to Digital. And so that might be more innocuous if I put the ebook version as the Draft to Digital version. But that's the same version that Amazon said. I don't know. The ebooks haven't made much money. Well, leave the ebooks out of this. If I get my PDF, you can always print it, but it'll have everything better. It'll be better formatted with bigger pictures. The ebook, there's a lot of compromises that have to be made to really do it well, so it'll still format and move around correctly on the little screen. So the PDF is always going to be my biggest 8.5 by 11 notebook size, generally. Okay, dedicated, and then we're done. Dedicated to all persons who seek the original Buddhism of the original Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. Some people say Gautama or Gautama. I don't know. Once again, I don't have a preference. Gautama is how I'm saying it. In India. Doesn't say it, but 2,000 years ago. So anyway, I'm dedicating this to all you people who really want his Buddhism. In other words, not the Alan Watts Buddhism of Japan. I mean, he's American, but his Buddhism all came from Japan. And Suzuki. Suzuki's kind of cool. I like maybe 5/8, 3/4 of what he says. I mean, he's good guy. It's just, unfortunately, these people have certain cultural flavors I don't agree with, and sometimes they have to add their cultural flavor in to be accepted at that time. For marketing. Kicked my camera again. Got one of the legs down here. There's a better way I could do this. I did one of my podcasts where I lost my blank magnet, where I had it on my desk, and when I would touch my desk, I mean, you're hearing the tapping, but the vibration was going in. So I'm experimenting. I got my camera on a stand here for the first time. So that's why I can kick that leg down here. Hey, are we done here? So this is dedicated to all you people who are seeking this stuff. So pretend you are. Accept the fact that that's what I'm going to basically share with you. All the Buddhism I'm going to share with you is not going to really come from the Zen Shaolin Temple flavor. It's going to be mostly from the original version. Because I was trying to impress all my audience when I was performing. I was trying to just give them this original flavor of Buddhism, because I realized that they didn't know what it was. All right, hey, I'm out of here. Sorry, I'm enjoying hanging out with you. If you're imaginary, what is this with me? I guess I've been performing my whole life. So for my whole life, I just kind of connect and then presume that everybody's connecting back with me. It's not like I wait. If I was a woman's soul, I would have to wait for the feedback to know that I was connecting. But because I'm actually a musician, I don't have to wait for the feedback to perform. So I'm kind of performing to you whether you're there or not there. It'd be the same show. All right. Anyway, good to see you. And I'm doing the Lohan bow for this one. So let's get out of here. And I think this is our second episode, isn't it? I got to make some sort of slate. Okay. Anyway, Buddha Z out of here. See you later. At the end of our classes, we always clap. I almost start, time to clap.
A verse, something to make life better, not worse. It's the basics of Buddhism. Buddha's first trick. It's the 4 Noble Truths to make enlightenment quick. He figured out, sitting under a tree, that life will never be perfect. It includes some pain and misery. But that's all right, he said. Most of this pain is in your head. Don't give up if you're not dead. What you gotta do is understand that things don't always go as you plan. Toss them out. If they don't make you feel good, those expectations should be understood. Don't just put a bandage on your brain. Figure out the source of the pain. Seek the truth about you and your world. Decide how you fit. Seek that truthful pearl that brings lights to your eyes. Moves the clouds from your skies. Which brings us to truth number 2. Now that pain and suffering has become understood, you realize you know that everything must end. All suffering is temporary. You either die, if it gets worse, or you improve and survive. So you're understood your suffering. You see the end to your pain. Ignorance will lead you astray, but what you've learned and what you know can visualize the end. So noble truth number 1 is accepting that life includes some pain. Noble truth 2 says it won't always rain. And noble truth number 3, we lead you to the cure. If it can stop the pain be dropped, you know this for sure. So now you seek the first cure, the quickest or the best. Instead of just complaining, you are on a quest. Answers that you seek may lead to other knowledge. Seeking the truth in life is our greatest college. Learn from interaction, success, and mistakes. Number 1, you accept the truth. Life can be bad. Number 2, you see that what's bad has an end. Number 3, you decide how this end can be had. So number 4 is the truth of success and prevention. Live a life that's good. Be as smart as you can. Be a good person, a good wife, a good man. The life you lead is the path you walk and how you talk. Choices are the crossroads of the path around the rock. There's going to be boulders, obstacles in your way. Choose the 4 noble truths to brighten your day.